So welcome to Thursday night rest and reset yin somatic restorative mashup. We just kind of do all the things. Tonight's focus is on decompressing. Yeah, I need to decompress. So I'm trying to be all love and light and all that stuff, but I don't know, it just doesn't really work for me all the time. Before we go down for the count, I want you to take us, because we're going to use all the props tonight. So if you've got a strap, I want you to grab it and make a big loop. Buckle up yourself a big loop. We're not going to use it immediately, but when we come to it, I want it to be prepped and ready for you. So, we typically start with some movement, and then we go into holds, longer held poses. But tonight, I'm going to start with a long baddhakonasana so that we can do some breathing. And then we'll do a little bit of movement and make our way into some more long holds. So set and setting, as you know, so important. So cue up your tunes if you like that. Light your candles or your sage sticks or whatever sets the tone for you. And we're going to start out, like I said, in supta baddhakonasana, which means we're going to use both bolsters and a blanket. You may want to have a block on standby. Now, if your lower back is giving you a little sass today, then I'm going to suggest that you put a block underneath the head of your bolster so that you're on a bit of a ramp, like so. The higher the block, the more comfortable on the low back, or maybe the higher the block, the less extension, the less intensity. That's the better way to put it. The less intensity on your lower back. So bundle yourself up with your warm, fuzzy socks. Put the rectangle bolster behind you with a blanket at the head for a pillow. Put your round bolster under your knees. You're going to sit with your tush just about one fist distance between your bum and the bolster, just a little bit of space there. And then roll yourself down. Take the first 30 or 60 seconds to adjust and refine. With that pillow underneath your head and neck, that allows for your forehead to be a little higher than your heart. And when we're wanting to activate, engage parasympathetic nervous system, it's kind of nice to have the chin down in this way. Make sure the bolster under your knees is in a comfortable spot. And then I'm going to ask you to draw your knees up and then drop them apart so that you're coming into this bound angle shape. But your knees are still resting on your bolster. You're just making a diamond shape with your legs. Voila. And then here we are. Take your arms a comfortable distance from your body. Turn your palms up, and we're going to get right to it. Because we know as longtime practicing yogis that our breath is the most effective and the most efficient tool that we have to alter and change the way we feel. And if we're amped up, then we can use our breath to regulate, self-regulate, and bring us back into a safe place of homeostasis. Still just getting settled in, and then just keeping tabs on your breath, noticing how the inhalation feels. Noticing how the exhalation feels. Not manipulating anything just yet. Simply feeling our way through our breath. Get a sense for the rhythm of your breath. Are you favoring the inhalation or are you favoring the exhalation? If your breath had a texture, how could you identify that? Notice the depth of your breath. Follow along as you inhale. And as you exhale. Begin to deepen your breath. Feeling your ribs expand, not just in front, but to the sides and in your back as well. Start to match your exhalations with your inhalations, finding a steady count. I'd like you to use the count of 4. It doesn't matter how fast or slow you count, but inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 4 in a way that allows your breath to mirror, your inhalations and exhalations to mirror one another. And begin to slow down your out breaths until you're exhaling for 8. Still breathing in for 4. Now lingering over those exhales a little longer each time. And now if that's comfortable for you and fairly effortless, then you can begin experimenting with a pause, a gap at the top of your inhalation. Pause for a count of 5. Inhaling for 4, pausing for 5, and exhaling for 8. And be aware if the change of instruction has elicited any tension, any gripping, any agitation at all. And if that's the case, just let go of the hold, let go of the pause, and stick with the ratio breath, breathing in for 4 and out for 8. You can even consider pausing at the bottom of the inhalation. Toy around with maybe 2 beats or 3 beats. And we're going to do this several more times. How smooth and fluid can this breath be for you? And take advantage of these slow exhalations to give your body permission to release, let go of any tension, residual tension from the day or the week. And that could be mental tension, physical, muscular, even nervous system, feeling a bit amped up. Allow the exhalations to act as like a gentle cascade, like a gentle waterfall, cascading from the crown of your head down, inviting the skin around your eyes to soften, inviting any tension in your neck, throat, jaw, and shoulders to begin releasing. Imagine that this long exhalation could untie any knots in your belly. Removing any stress in your lower back. And give yourself one more breath like this with this 4, 5, 8 pattern. And then relinquish your control or your manipulation. And let your breath fall into its own rhythm. Okay, begin to move your fingers and your toes, and if it feels right, let your body stretch, taking your arms out to the sides or up over your head, pointing your toes. Bend your knees one at a time and set your feet to the bolster that was under your knees and give it a little roll. Take it off to the side so it's out the way. Great. And then we're going to roll over to one side just long enough to move the props out from underneath us. Return to your back. And let's move a bit through our hips and our shoulders. Arms out, either straight like a T or elbows bent like a cactus. Take your feet as wide as your mat with your knees bent. Windshield wipers. Inhale, knees to the left. If you want to turn your head to the right, be my guest. Not mandatory. Exhale, come back through center. Inhale, knees to the right. Turn your head to the left. And exhale, return to center and keep going. This one's hard to mess up. Just keep rocking knees from side to side, turning your head if that feels good. We'll go one more time from left to right. And then you'll walk your feet just a tad closer to one another, maybe about 6 inches apart. Keep your knees bent. Take your arms to the ceiling, straight up. Bend your elbows. Take opposite hands to opposite elbows, crossing your forearms in front of your chest. This is your inhalation. When you exhale, your arms will go right, your knees will go left. And let your head follow your arms. Your inhalation brings you through center, and your exhalation takes your knees to the right and your arms to the left. Good. Just keep rocking back and forth from side to side, gently pumping the sacral plexus, which corresponds with your parasympathetic nervous system, and gently pumping and rocking and gliding on your shoulders, moving your shoulder blades, moving the ball and socket joint of your shoulder girdle, and gently pumping lymphatic fluid through your neck, throat, armpits, and mammary tissues. When you come back up through center this next time around, just change the cross of your forearms and keep going. All right, let's bring that to a close. Release your arms to your sides. We're going to do one more movement sequence for our shoulders. I'm going to have you roll to your left side. You can take your rectangle bolster and place it between your knees and feet. And then bending your elbows, bring your hands behind your head, gently clasping your fingers at the back of your head. Draw your elbows towards one another. Right elbow reaches towards the left elbow. And when you're ready, as you inhale, you'll sweep your right elbow up and back, coming into a twist. The exhalation will bring you back into this cocoon, taking your right elbow towards the floor, towards your sticky mat. And then open up again into the twist as you inhale, and we'll keep going like so. Cradle your head and your hands between your hands, your wrist and forearms the whole time. So there's little to no strain at all on your neck. And when you open up into the twist, this next round, let's stay here for several breaths. We'll stay here about 1.5 minutes. Gently close it up, bringing your right elbow over once again, reaching it towards the floor. Good. And slowly roll onto your back, and let's do the other side. Bring your bolster with you as you make your way over to your right side. Knees bent and stacked, elbows bent, hands behind your head, elbows closed up to begin. Then inhaling, sweeping your left elbow up and back. And exhaling, returning elbows towards one another. Maybe inching your left elbow towards the floor. Good, and then keep going. Notice if this is fluid and smooth. Notice where the jerkiness is, if there is any constrictions in the movements. Where do your joints get a little sassy? or your muscles get a little perturbed with you. I'm not trying to push past or beyond any threshold. And simply moving our body in the way that our body gives us on this day. Let your head be heavy, cradled in your hands the entire time. When you open up into the twist this next round, let's stay put. And close it up. Left elbow sweeps up and over. Very nice. Good. So set the bolster that was between your knees to the side. Come onto your back. And here's where the strap is going to come into the picture. Now, we have not done this before. I don't believe we've done this in this class. Terry, you've done this with me before. I know. I don't think we have, Maxine. So here we go. We have this big, giant loop. I'm going to have you pull your knees to your chest. Loop the strap over the ball of both feet. Okay. Then, now, here's the fun part. Then you're going to take the other end of the loop, tuck your chin to your chest, and put this loop behind your head. Okay, now I'm going to get up and come to the camera just to make sure this makes sense. I would like the loop, the strap, to be right at the base of your occipitals, right? So there's this ridge at your skull, right at the base of that ridge, and then over your ear. So don't put it on your ears, but right in that crease. Okay. All right, let's give this a go. So knees to chest, strap over the balls of your feet. And then strap over your head, cradling you in the nook of that shelf. And then you'll slowly straighten your legs. And if the strap is in the accurate place at the back of your head, it won't slide off. It won't slide down, nor will it slide up. And your feet, your legs, as they straighten, will provide traction for your neck and your shoulders. Allow your chin to settle towards your chest and let your arms rest on the floor with your palms turned up. Okay, so I'm at the screen and Maxine, with your right hand, give me a thumbs up if this is good. This feels right. Okay, all right. Okay, good. All right, good deal. And the more you press your feet and legs towards the wall beyond the foot of your mat, and the more traction you'll feel. It's subtle. And that's good. This should not be intense. And invite your arms and your shoulders to be quite heavy. Now, you're welcome to stay just like this, or remove your left foot from your strap and set your left leg down on your mat. So now you're being tractioned by your right foot. Take your arms out like a T, and then slowly take your right leg to the right, just about 20 degrees, not too far. And as your right leg floats over to the right, the traction of the strap at your head will gently take your head to the right as well. Left arm is heavy. Jaw and throat are relaxed and at ease. The traction of the strap is doing the work. Bring your right leg back up, find vertical. Put your left foot in the strap. Do this slowly, very slowly and mindfully so you don't jar your neck. Once you place your left foot in the strap, and your strap might slide a little, that's okay. Just use your hands to keep it in place. And take your right leg down to the floor. First, just become accustomed to tractioning your neck and upper back, trapezius muscles with your left leg, and then float your left leg over to the left. Now we're not going very far, right? Just over to the left, oh, maybe 20 degrees, maybe about 6 inches, 6 or 8 inches. And let your head just move along for the ride. Let it be, Redbone. Sorry. Dog. Bring your left leg to vertical once more. And bring your right foot into the strap. So both feet now are in your strap. Last couple of breaths, letting both feet traction. the head, neck, and shoulders. So here's the exit strategy. You're going to bring your hands to your strap. With the use of your hands, your hands are going to hold your strap now, so you don't bring your head to the floor just yet. But you are going to bend your knees to your chest and remove your feet from the strap. And now your head is being held in the strap by your hands. Slowly, with your hands, you can lower the strap and then your head, of course, down to the floor. Good. Feet can come to the floor. You can release your hands, take your arms a comfortable distance from your body. Check in with what's happening in the back of your neck, maybe a flush of blood, a flow of lymph, maybe heat, maybe tingling. Nice. Okay. So you'll bend your knees once again and slowly find your way up to sitting so that we can change gears. Ooh. So I hope that was good for you. That's a really nice way to decompress the cervical spine. But it can be a little scary, dealing with a strap around your neck and not much, traction, stretching of the neck. Cervical spine's really tender, right? It's really delicate. So we always want to proceed with caution, but when you get it, it's a good one. Okay, so now we're going to take our upper body in the opposite direction. We've been like this, which is great, feels good, nice stretch. Now let's go the other way. You're going to take your round bolster, set it across towards the top of your mat. Place a block just beyond your round bolster. We're going to come into supported fish pose. Okay, so turn around so the bolster is behind you. Keep your knees bent and your feet on the mat to begin so that you're anchored. And bring your elbows to your bolster. We're doing this so that we can identify that the bolster's in the right spot. You kind of lean down into it, and as long as it's around bra line, you're good. And then you can roll your head back, shoulders back. Let your head find the block. And then you can take your arms out to the sides like a T. Your arms should be free of your bolster, just above your bolster. You're welcome to keep your knees bent or take your legs down the length of your mat. So many times in a supported fish pose in this type of class, I'll cue you to have your block a little higher so that your head is above your heart. But tonight, because we just spent about 10 minutes in flexion, if it feels okay for you, I'm going to have you keep your block pretty low, like maybe even on its lowest height, so that the front of your neck and throat are open, a bit more open than they might typically be if the block were taller. So the head's tilted back slightly. Put some space between your top teeth and bottom teeth. Take a deeper breath. Let that cue, let that breath cue a transition. You can start to bend your knees and set your feet onto the mat if they're not already. And then how I like to exit this shape is bring our hands behind our head, clasping our fingers together so that we use the strength of our arms to lift our head rather than straining our neck. And just lift high enough to look to your knees. Then I always like to take 2 or 3 breaths before moving further. And then from here, you have a choice. You can either roll to one side, or you can bring your elbows down to your bolster and push yourself up. Yeah, I like to roll, but everybody's different. Oh, oof. Okay. Wow. So now we're going down for the count. Take your blocks to the foot of your mat on their tallest height. And this is going to be for your heels. And you're going to take your rectangle bolster, set it across your mat, and then you'll stack your round bolster on top of your rectangle bolster. It's going to be your stack for your knees, your knee stack. It's kind of a funny word. Great. And then you're going to scoot your sweet little tush down towards your bolster stack. Swing your knees up over your bolsters. Set your heels onto your blocks so that there's a sense of closing the circuitry, grounding through your heels, and then very slowly bring yourself down to the floor. Call your kitties. Grab a sandbag if you've got one. A sandbag across your pelvis is manna from heaven in this shape. Or a cat on your belly. Or if you're cat-free, as I am, and didn't have a sandbag nearby, you could place your blanket across your belly and pelvis. And you can put your blanket under your head, of course. With your heels resting on their blocks, follow that path of energy as stress and strain from the day leave your toes and your feet, cross over your shins and over your knees, cascading down your thigh bones into the pool of your pelvis. Allowing your limbs to drain. Eyes closed. Palms turned up. So we're ending our practice in a gesture of being both open and receptive. Find a steady breath, breathing in, breathing out for the same duration, the same amount of time. No pausing, no holding, just let that occur naturally. I mean, almost like there's just the briefest moment of hang time at the top of the inhalation. And just the briefest moment of pause at the bottom of the exhalation. And finding this fluid rhythm to your breath, almost to the point where it's uncertain where the inhalation ends and the exhalation begins. Where the exhalation ends and the inhalation begins. Smooth. Steady. Stable. And fluid. Take 3 more breaths like this, and then relinquish your manipulation of the breath and just allow your breathing pattern to fall into a natural rhythm, becoming lighter, softer, almost just like a thread. Okay, you're welcome to stay in Shavasana for, well, the rest of the night, if you'd like. Or begin moving your fingers and toes and pull your knees to your chest. Let yourself rock a little from side to side. Good. And then bring yourself upright. Let's find a seat. And bring your hands together and placing the base of your thumbs at your third eye. May our minds be stable and steady as we move into the weekend. Bring your fingertips to your lips. May our words be stable and steady. And place your hands at your heart. May our hearts always be stable and steady. Thank you for joining me. And the others on the screen, both now and watching the recording later. Have a really nice evening.